Welcome to Afternoon Express. I'm Satin, and today we're diving into the business of beauty. We connect with Sinovuyo Mondliwa, who created the Love King Satin Dukes and haircare line for ethnic hair. We chat with inventor, speaker, and trainer Llewellyn Devereaux about his book, The Mastery Code. And we'll also be touching base with the fabulous entrepreneur and content creator Boomi to chat about of the beauty industry. And kicking this all off is another informative Ingram skin session, debunking skincare myths. Now, as the saying goes, don't quit your day job. But on social media, if you had to, we want to find out from you, what would you do? But Dumi Siswam, happy Thursday.
Well, happy Thursday, Bali, and happy Thursday, South Africa. It is a Fashion Thursday, and we're keeping it fashionable here in the Afternoon Express kitchen, and we're going to be making some delicious fudge bars using our Clover Bliss. And if you want the recipe details, make sure to go to afternoonexpress.co.za. But let's debunk some myths with Dr. Cindy van Zyl and Odie Flames.
If you're like me, you're endlessly trying to achieve your best skin possible. The internet is a minefield of tips, tricks, homemade remedies, conflicting information, and recommendations that can confuse even the most clued up skincare aficionados. Now, some of these myths and age-old traditions have been passed down through generations, whilst others have arisen in more recent times. Our obsession with skin has led to becoming more critical of people with particular skin conditions too. Whatever their origins, general practitioner Dr. Cindy van Zyl and multifaceted artist Odie Flames joins us in the loft this afternoon for another Ingram skin session to discuss how these myths can derail our best intentions when it comes to taking care of our skin. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Now, firstly, Dr. Cindy, what are some of the worst skincare myths that you've encountered?
In my line of work, I see a lot of children with ringworm, and there's so many myths around the treatment of ringworm. So people, especially on the head, people say that you must put black polish on it, you must put battery acid on it. There's all these myths around it. And the treatment for ringworm is a fungus, right? And you need to get tablets from a medical doctor. And you take these tablets for a minimum of 3 months, and the ringworm on your scalp should go away. You also need to cut your hair and make sure that you keep your hair cut during the duration of treatment. But black polish, battery acid and all those things, no. That is not how we treat ringworm on the scalp.
Now, Odie, with the internet full of tips and tricks, new fads and trends, how can we discern between the good and the bad?
I think it's pretty easy, hey. I mean, as a person, when you're reading through stuff, sometimes you can tell, good time, man. This is a bit weird to even think that there's someone out there that can believe such a thing. I'm going to make an example with me. You read or hear so many things about albinism and people living with albinism. Some say when we die, we disappear. Others even treat our condition as if it's a disease or anything. So sometimes when you're reading through something, just think about it. And you can tell, man, when something is just off or when something is right. And if you're not sure, you can always ask someone else.
Absolutely. And Dr. Cindy, for yourself, as you just scroll through the internet, how can one tell what's good, what we should take in, and what we should just take away?
What's so cool about the internet now is that people like me, medical doctors or nurse clinicians, are all over the internet. So it's a matter of just Googling the right thing and then making sure that when you click on a link, you click on a reputable link. I know that WebMD is one of the most trusted sites when it comes to medical knowledge. You can follow doctors on Twitter, you can follow doctors on Facebook, but there's no excuse in this day and age, certainly not in 2020, to be looking up the wrong information. There's too many doctors and nurses on Twitter and social media for that to be happening. So always make sure it's someone reputable, someone trustworthy. And as Odie says, if it sounds too good to be true or it sounds shady, then of course it's too good to be true or it's shady.
Absolutely, it probably is. Now, Odie, going back to some of those myths around albinism that you would love to debunk, how has it personally affected you?
Okay, so there's so many myths, like I said before. People say some of the most weirdest, awkward things. Like I said, people say when we die, we would disappear. Weird. I remember when I was growing up, right? I was very little. I think I was like about 11 or 12, and my mom had sent me to a shop to get her some stuff. So on my way there, I'm walking there, and there were two men that were walking past me, right? And then one guy said to the other, he has to spit on the floor so that he doesn't end up looking like me, having my skin condition, or having children that look like me. And at the time, because I was very young, it was very confusing. And they actually did spit on the floor as they walked past me. And obviously I was very touched. And because I was still young, and I was still like in the beginning stages of even understanding my condition and why I look so different from others. And I came across adults that actually believes such things and do such things. It was very, very, very weird. But I think because at home, my parents always had like an open door for me to ask anything if I didn't understand anything, or if I was feeling a certain way, or if I went out there and someone did something, I could always go back home and be like, Mom, Dad, this and this and this happened, and they'd explain it to me, and I'd be okay.
And then, Odie, what does wearing your skin bravely mean to you?
Wearing my skin bravely, to me, it means being proud of my skin, knowing who I am, knowing exactly who I am, and also understanding that how I see myself will be how the world sees me. So I should always be confident in myself. If there's anything that I don't like about myself and I can change, I should, if I want to. But if there's anything that I don't like about myself and I can't change, I should learn to love it. And also nourishing my skin, because it's the only skin that I'll ever have. So I take care of it as much as I can, and the only way that I know how to.
Now, Dr. Cindy, how can these stereotypes around skin conditions affect one's mental health, and what role does this play in their life going forward?
It's very challenging. I mean, if you look at people living with albinism, over and above always being stared at, they have to live with the rumors and the misinformation, like the fact that albinism is associated with witchcraft, and the fact that people say that when they die they disappear. Those things are not true. So there's pressure on the family that has a child or children living with albinism. There's pressure on the child or children themselves, or the people themselves. And it's up to us to make sure that we're always sharing the correct information. I love what Odie said about how this is her skin and she's going to live in her skin as best as she can. It's up to us, when we get the correct information, to share it with everybody else. I think albinism is one of the most misunderstood skin conditions. It's an inherited disorder. So you have two parents, both with a recessive gene. They come together, have a baby, and then this baby happens to not have the gene that makes sure that melanin is produced. Okay, so it's hard for the parents because there's no way of knowing during pregnancy that the baby's going to come out with albinism, and so it's almost always a surprise when they find out when the baby's born. But if they look back in their history, they'll find that there is a family member somewhere along the line who is living with albinism, or had or there was a family member with albinism, so they can kind of say, oh, okay, now we see where this comes from. Sunscreen is definitely something that can't be overlooked. Sunscreen is expensive, so I'm hoping that as time goes on, more and more pharmaceutical companies will make it more affordable, especially for people living with albinism. It's a non-negotiable. They have to wear sunscreen all the time to protect their skin from the sun.
Now, ladies, breaking the stigma around these myths is a social responsibility. So what action needs to be taken to educate others and dispel myths and stereotypes? Odie?
I think education. Ask if you're not sure about anything. You can ask professionals. You can even ask me, a person living with albinism, because obviously I have educated myself so that I can understand myself better. So you just ask, and don't take everything that you hear out there. Don't assume everything that you hear out there is correct. And also, just get information. Information is always out there. The internet, social media, everywhere. Yeah.
And lastly, from you, Dr. Cindy.
I'll agree with Odie. Education is everything. That's how we've been able to break the stigma around other conditions as well. So it's important for us to stay informed, to ask when we don't know, and not to make assumptions about anything, because information is always available. And this is why I love what Ingram's is doing with regards to educating us about skin conditions.
Yeah. General practitioner Dr. Cindy, and of course a multifaceted artist, that is OD Flames, sharing of course what bravery in their skin means to them. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Now, as we've seen, there are many skin myths out there, and with education, we can differentiate between which ones are helpful and harmful. Remember, you only have one skin, so nourish it and wear it bravely.
You only have one skin. Nourish it and wear it bravely.
Palisa, I can't help but laugh, but thinking about all the myths that we have to be debunking. The fact that I heard that people can use methylated spirit to remove dark marks. Tabang, just imagine.
You know, you seem to be doing more harm, I think, than any good. I love the fact, though, that we have these people coming through saying, like, look, South Africa, the old myths, tales that we now no longer need, we can let go of them fully. And here's something that is going to take care of all of our skincare products. And speaking of which, Dumza, on social media?
I'm not answering that just yet. No.
Okay, so whilst we're waiting to find out what Boomi would do if she didn't have her day job here on Afternoon Express, I really want everybody to just head over to Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express and let us know, if you weren't doing your day job, what would you be getting up to? And how good would they be at it?
I wonder. I wonder.
Now, on that same note, Mpumile Dwaba's rise to the top of the South African beauty industry started when she walked out of a university exam to pursue her passion of nails and beauty. Coming up, she calls into the loft to share more from her inspiring journey. chat to Boomi about how she started her beauty business after walking out of a university exam. Boomi Siswam, welcome back to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be back. I would have loved to be on the couch with you, though.
Boomi, you have grown such a successful business, but not without its challenges and hardships. So tell us about how it all got started and what made you decide to go into nails.
Yeah, so when I started out, actually the whole business idea started when I was in corporate, working while studying. And that's when I actually started with my business plan, because I knew that I wanted to be in business. And I knew that I didn't want to work for somebody for the rest of my life. So that was a great place to kind of understand what I want to do. And then I walked out of an exam because I really felt, I think I heard the voice of the Lord saying, this is not where you belong. Yeah. And obviously that didn't come without any trials. It's not to say that everything was just simple and plain. There was a lot of tears, there was a lot of frustration, a lot of, okay, what's next? And then I registered my company as a cleaning company because I knew that I didn't need capital for that. And then I started cleaning people's houses. And then eventually, when I got married, I went to nail school. And then nobody would hire me after nail school. So all I had was my car. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to start my own business and I'm going to drive to people's houses and do their nails. And then it grew and grew until I got my own establishment, my own place. And a year later, I branched out into natural hair.
Wow, it's so interesting to hear just that step-by-step journey that you've had to go through to get to where you are today. So what challenges did you have to face with that mobile salon? And when did you see that, you know what, it's time to expand?
The challenges with the mobile salon was it became a time thing. Well, at first, I wasn't that good at what I was doing. So I'd literally go to Satin, do the nails, then go to Midrand, then go to wherever, and I was a newlywed, and then a day later someone would be like, oh, my nail's broken. And as I improved, more people requested me, and I was saving money while doing the mobile thing. And eventually that's when I decided, you know what, I think it's time to get a place. But it was really a time thing and not having the correct skills from the beginning.
So now that you do have Aneno Beauty Bar, how different is the environment that you've created for those having and wanting to get their nails and hair done? That compares, of course, to other bars.
I call Aneno Beauty Bar the dream factory because of where I started. It was something that I dreamt about, I imagined. And I want whenever a woman walks into the space, they feel like they can achieve anything they put their mind to, anything that's in line with their purpose. And the environment is very clean, it's very fresh, it's white walls, lovely paintings. And I really wanted to create a space that is aesthetically pleasing, but also relaxing. Like, you don't want to be in a place that's busy and you're getting your nails done, but you really, we have a really nice environment, beautiful music. And of course, our ladies are lovely to chat to. But I think the essence of my environment is that it's the dream factory. I really want people to get that aspect, that it's not just another place to get your nails, but it's I want you to come out with something based on my story.
So how have you then made your business a success? And what advice do you have for other women out there who want to become entrepreneurs, might not be in the beauty industry, in whatever industry, could even be content creation?
Yeah, I think be passionate about what you're doing. As I said in the beginning, I was in corporate and I was making good money and I could have just stayed there. But I decided, you know what, I want more. There's more to life than just making money and making a living. And one thing you should notice, pay attention to the things you did as a child that you would do freely without expecting money, and how you can turn that into profit. And obviously things don't happen instantly. In the beginning phases, do some research. Now we're so privileged to literally have YouTube. YouTube explains everything. It's a university. Use Google. Make sure you do a lot, like you do your research when going into business, and don't expect to make profit instantly. So it's really good to be prepared financially, read some financial books, and but most importantly, follow passion. If you're starting a business for money, you're in the wrong space. Make sure you're passionate about what you're doing, and then how you can make that passion profitable.
Beautiful. And Boomi, before we let go of you, what is 2021 looking like? Okay, let's not act like 2020 is even finished. We're still in September. So what is the future, let's say, looking like for you and, of course, the Aneno Beauty Bar?
The future for me is I'm going e-commerce. So my business didn't have a website for the longest time because I didn't see a need for it. I felt like Instagram was a great enough platform for booking service, etc. But now we are busy working on our website, and we are going to be launching some products, Anino products. I don't want to say it. I wanted to say, but I think, let me not say. Look out for our website that will be launching in October, and we're going to be selling some of our products. I might pop in gel polish there. Those who know will know.
Those who know will know. Oh, I'm so excited for you, Boomi. Thank you so much for touching base with us again. Although so much has happened through 2020, it's so incredible to see that you're still strong and working so well, not only within your family, but giving us the beauty care we need. Goodbye, girl. Boomi is proof that you can strive to get where you want to be by having a little faith, vision, and determination. For more information on Boomi and her nail and beauty bar, please do follow her on her social media.
Palesa, I can definitely relate to Boomi because we're talking about what career would you leave. That's actually what I did to become a chef. I left a career in finance, a career in medical aid. I left a corporate job because I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to do me. I need to do what I love, and I came here. So I honestly can't think of anything else I'd rather be doing than being a chef.
So you risked it all when you
Yes, girl.
entered Tastemaster SA, and you thought, you know what, goodbye to the past, hello to the new.
Well, I risked it all in 2013. But yes, this is part of the journey. So had I not left that, I probably wouldn't be on Afternoon Express giving you guys treats day after day.
Girlfriend, it is all about building blocks. That's what I'm finding. You know, so many people have to be flexible in everything that they do, and what they want for themselves might change over time. So I love the fact that we touched base with Boomi and incredible people like her when it comes to all things, you know, entrepreneurial spirit and creating content. Now, speaking of Boomi, achieving holistic beauty is a round-the-clock process, including whilst you're asleep. Coming up here, entrepreneur Sino Vuyo Mondlewa shares more about her Love Kinks haircare line that includes satin pillowcases and dukes. Someone's a fan.
Express yourself.
Hair, Hair. Whether you're a man or a woman, it seems like we're really paying a lot of attention as to how to keep our hair, and not only that, the best products to use to maintain that healthy, vibrant look. So today, we chat to the lovely Sinovuyo Mondliwa about her very innovative Satin Duk collection. Sinovuyo, welcome to the loft.
Hello, how are you?
Girl, I am good, but more than ever, I'm so excited to find out about this idea of yours, because not only are we just huge fans of you as an influencer and content creator, but more than anything, that business mind. I mean, I really have to just tap into that. So tell me more about how you got your idea for Love Kinks, and how did it all begin?
So Love Kings started 4 years ago. I was helping my followers with information about how to take care of their natural hair. And then we went on to needing more and more information. It moved over to YouTube. Then from YouTube, it moved over to masterclasses. And now I'm in the product formulation stage. So before the products came, I wanted to deal directly with the issue of our hair drying out overnight. Because when you wake up and your hair is dried out by a cotton pillowcase, you're already starting 5 steps behind. So the satin pillowcases and the satin duks keep your moisture retained overnight. They reduce the tangling in your hair. They keep your skin moisture retained overnight. So already when you wake up, you're already a few steps ahead before you start hydrating and moisturizing your hair. That's how Love King started.
Now, with recently launching the Satin Duks after the pillowcases, what challenges did you face during lockdown with the manufacturing to deliveries? And then, of course, how did you overcome these challenges?
So during lockdown, I actually launched the Duk. So the Duk ended up upselling the pillowcases. So more pillowcases were selling and thousands of Duks were selling. I wasn't prepared for this because previously I was selling about 40 to 50, items a month. So now I had to deal with volume. I had to then move over into an e-commerce setup where I've got a website where people can buy. Because getting 1,000 emails in a day and trying to reply to each email with a quote, so that's up, and then sending banking details just didn't work. Because once you lose your customer in the buying process, it's basically over. So to retain more customers, I moved over to e-commerce. Once you're on e-commerce, I had to have a very efficient courier service to get all the products to my people on time. So the courier services let me down. It was hectic. And then it's just contingencies, returning factory fault products, the costs that I incur over that, maybe that weren't put into the business plan and all of that. So I just learned a lot. My business has grown during lockdown more than it has in the last maybe year before that, because so many things had to be improved so quickly because of the high volumes.
Did you have any self-doubt that this idea could potentially not work out? And if so, did you put a stop to that negativity? As you know, with so many of us, we start something, but we don't finish it due to fear and doubt.
So definitely this started for me as a passion, trying to satisfy a few people. So when it turned into a business, it was always a business, but I mean, when it turned into a hectic business, I really wasn't ready. And I had these self-doubts, like, do I really want to supply 4,000 people? Don't I just want to supply 100 people? But I was getting messages every day, emails, people calling me through my family saying, no, I need this, I need this. So I had to then talk myself out of that quitting mentality to tell myself that, no, you can do this. This is what you are called to do. So then I got a lot of counseling from friends, family, and my therapist. I joined therapy a month into the business because I really was not coping. And just like, what if I send a product that's damaged to someone who really believes in me and trusts me? And then my therapist would talk me through things like, even big companies have factory faults. Even big companies sometimes can't satisfy demand. So just as long as every single day you're working towards improving supply, all of that. So my therapist really helped me get out of my head and into a practical implementation of improvements daily.
There seems to be a certain stigma around getting that professional help, whether you're an entrepreneur or a creative. How were you able to, or rather, did you even have any hang-ups within yourself, having to go ask for that help?
Definitely had a lot of hang-ups, and I think personally I use the expense of it all as an excuse. But actually, when I looked deeper into myself, I could afford to go to therapy, but I was just saying, I'm not crazy, I don't need that. I'm a strong Black woman, I can do this by myself. And a very close friend of mine, actually my partner, said to me, please, I've been in therapy for this long. I think this will benefit you. There's answers that me as your partner, your friends, or your dad and your mom can't give you that a person who has studied psychology can then help you with. My idea of what it is now has completely changed.
Absolutely. Now, if you had one ultimate piece of advice to those starting or thinking of starting a business, what would it be?
You need to have a business plan. A business plan is basically the framework that you will work under. You can always tweak things as you go, but you need that heading that says, when these things happen, what are your contingency plans? When this happens, what do you do? Just something that helps you along the way. Because now you'll encounter issues along the way that if you had just sat down and done a business plan for a month, you would have already had plans on how you would tackle that in future. So a business plan is essential. You need to do a business plan before you start.
Absolutely, that is key. Thank you so much, Sinovuyo Mondliwa, for coming through not only as a content creator, but giving your product some light and the idea behind it and how you were able to overcome all those challenges. We appreciate you, but we'll definitely also be touching base on social media. Bye.
So much.
Now, don't let your fears or your hair define you from being successful and being your authentic self. For more information on Sinovuyo and her looks, please check out her social media.
You know, there's a saying that says, queens fix each other's crowns. And Palisa, the one thing I loved about Sinovuyo is that she started out trying to help people fix their crowns.
Yeah.
Like, yes, you've got it on lock with the products and everything else, but you're still draining out the moisture with the stuff you're putting on when you sleep. You're sleeping on a cotton pillowcase. Do something right. And that's basically when I fell in love with her.
You know what? It's all about finding out. Depends on what industry you're in. There's a loophole. There's something missing. And you might have that thing that is the key to make everyone's lives easier. The fact that you went from 40 orders to 4,000, I mean, that is talking about doubling and tripling the benefits and the blessings.
Everything na double double oh. Na double double oh. Everything na double double oh.
Even the blessings double double oh. But speaking about that, there has to also be, I think, a mastery code to everything that you do. For you to be able to double, triple the way that we're singing about, you need to be able to tap into all of those keys to success, Dumza. So, you know, striving for this success, South Africa, can be intimidating when we're constantly comparing our lives to the fantastical ones we see on social media timelines. So coming up, Llewellyn Devereaux explains how his book, The Mastery Code, helps people become their most authentic, successful selves.
Express yourself.
with the creamy decadence of bliss chocolate dessert from Clover. Surrender to a moment of pure chocolate bliss. Bliss. Double indulgence.
Made with love by Clover. Express yourself.
After successfully launching a recovery drink, Le Hockler, alcohol spelt backwards, Llewellyn Devereaux has now launched a book called The Mastery Code, a book that teaches progressive mindset. Llewellyn, welcome to The Loft.
Hey, how's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Are you well?
We are well, we are motivated and feeling really good. You know, touching base with incredible individuals like yourselves. You're not only an inventor, you're not only an author, but you're also just such a creative, motivational mind. And I just want to dive a little bit into all of that. Llewellyn, what made you write this book and how do you want to help people with it?
I realized in my journey of building Le Hockler that there was a lot of things that I had to let go of that I didn't know I had to let go of, right? Yeah. So it was a thing of, I did the journey, I started with nothing, I knew nobody, and I just finished varsity at Wits, having done economics, but I wanted a different kind of life. And so instead of writing the book first, I decided to go on the journey so I could at least have the experience to be able to understand what it is that I'm trying to do. And I mean, The Mastery Code is the third book that I've written. So, you know, I've written two before this, and the first one, publishers said I was too young, and they said that I had to be a psychologist or a speaker to sell the book, so that kind of failed. And then after I did the journey, it was basically like leaving Egypt and going to my own promised land. I did that, and then I realized that I had the keys and I had the map, and I was like, actually, people need these keys. So the book is supposed to be able to make sure people get there quicker and sooner without having them to like waste their time. I just got the keys and I'm saying, here's the keys, unlock your mind, and then walk through the door that you're supposed to walk through. So I don't tell people what to think. I'm just saying I'm unlocking your mind, because if it's not unlocked, it's a problem.
Give us a brief description of the 3 divisions of the Mastery Code book: self-mastery, money mastery, and purpose.
The word mastery I use because it basically means a superiority over the thing that I'm speaking to. So when I said self-mastery, the first thing an individual must first understand is that you must first define yourself. You must decide who you're going to be, what you're trying to do, where you're trying to, and how you're trying to go about it. So the first thing first is direction. Number one. So you start off in this wide format with all the potential in the world, and then you have to narrow it down to decide what it is you're going to do. That imposes discipline onto you. Okay. So you have to have a vision. You have to have something where you're trying to go. That vision and you being pulled into a narrow tunnel will then eventually get you to develop and build whatever you've got. And then over time, after that, you can then expand outwards in a certain way, because all the great people that you know them for one thing. Michael Jordan, basketball. Tiger Woods, golf. Only a few things are necessary, not too many things. Yeah. So then from there, once you define yourself and you expand yourself, you must understand money is a very important part. People hate it, but it's the truth. You must be fruitful and multiply. Not fruitful and add. You must be fruitful and multiply. So the only way you're going to be able to enjoy life, you have to be able to master the concept of money without having to always think money is something you have to work with, because it's all about purpose. So purpose, after mastering money, you have to be able to get rich as a person, get wealthy as a person, not so you can be wealthy, but so you can do all the things you want to be able to contribute. Yeah. And so purpose speaks to contributing, because it is about being fruitful and multiplying. So when you're a fruit, if you're a peach tree, you don't eat yourself. You know what I mean? What would you say is individuals' number one mistake, and how do we overcome it? Individuals don't take responsibility. That's the main thing. They don't take responsibility. It's all about blaming everyone else and blaming everything else. So you never take responsibility. So because of that, you never get clear on what it is you want to do, and you never get started. It's all great and fair to want things, but a lot of people just never get to a point where they get clear, and they let everyone else kind of decide what they should want and how they should go about life. And that's the problem. You don't take individual responsibility for your own life. Nobody is coming to save you. That's just facts. That's real talk. That's real talk. One of your quotes to live by is just to be your authentic self. Now, is this a mistake that you feel people often make? And why is it so important to be authentic? I always say to people that you're only effective when you're authentic. So what I tell people all the time is that when you see a child and you see a child playing in whatever they're playing with, the child is fully composed, the child is fully there, the child is doing, and the child is having fun. So what happens is that you're seeing the child in their most authentic expression, playing with whatever they're playing. With us, as we grow up, because we've been taught to be inauthentic, we've been programmed away from our core aligned self, So because we're doing everything else we don't want to be doing a lot of the times, we're inauthentic. And because we're inauthentic, we can't be effective. Because the thing about effectiveness is that it requires you to be able to be so good at what you're doing that you're able to be enthusiastic about it. Now, the word enthusiastic, it comes from the Greek word entheos, which means the projection of the God within. That's what entheos means, enthusiastic. So when a child is playing, a child is having fun. So that's why we're so attracted to people that are having fun. When people are having fun, they're smiling, we're attracted to that. And that's why you can only be effective when you're enthusiastic, only when you're authentic. That's why that's something that's very important. And that's why you have to get clear with it. You have to be clear to say, I want to be authentic. I want to express myself as me, because that's me right now, walking to life as me.
Okay, Luella, now that we've got these 3 tips and we know quite practically how to use them, I want to find out how then do we apply it to our lives so we can be these successful entrepreneurs?
Yeah, like I said, it's just number one, you have to get clear on what is it you want. What do you want from your life? Be honest with that. Stop letting people tell you what you should want, what you shouldn't want. So first, master yourself. Understand that mighty is he that can control others, but mighty is he that has mastered himself. That's Lao Tzu, right? 2,000 years ago. And then on top of that, you have to be able to understand you can be creative, you can be awesome at what you want. But the thing is, you can be creative and it's cool for you to be creative right now, but you have to be able to master the fact that you must make bank. You must be honest and unapologetic about the fact that you want to make money from what you're doing. This thing of, just doing what you love for no reason, that's not going to get you anywhere. You have to be honest with it, which means that you must look at what you have, understand the business side of your creativeness. Don't just be creative for the sake of being creative. You know what I mean? And then from there, you have to know that it doesn't last forever. So at some point, you have to think about your creativity to be used to contribute to the next generation. Don't just think you're going to be cool forever. It doesn't work that way. Like, just be real.
Okay. That is definitely a tough pill to swallow for many, but I love the hard passion and just the straight facts that you are representing right now. Llewellyn Devereaux, more power to you. We're going to definitely ask for book 4 because if this is what you're preaching, we're definitely signing up. Goodbye.
Thank you. Ahoo.
Ahoo! On that note, living your best authentic self is key in our world today. Now, for more information, tips, and online classes, please follow Llewellyn or the Mastery Code.
I love how his book is such a holistic approach to fixing and getting your life in order. But I have to say that the purpose and the money and all of it actually works in order, because if you don't know your purpose, it'll be hard to get that paper because you won't know. So it basically is just a
full circle moment, a full circle moment, a aha moment. Yes. But what's so interesting about Llewellyn, how he was just basically saying, the first time he tried to write a book, they were like, you are no psychologist, no one's going to listen to you, please chill. Now we see him 3 books in. That's incredible. When people say no, everything else might be saying yes.
Well, girl, I've been saying, Guti, every opportunity is an opportunity. A door that is closed, it still has a handle. Jiggle a bit, girl. You never know.
You never know. You might have that magic key that everyone has been waiting for and looking for. Now, on social media, please do use that hashtag Afternoon Express. Let's keep the conversation going. Are you as inspired as I am? Are you kind of feeling what we're paving into the weekend this Thursday? Let us know, if you were to quit your day job, what would you be getting up to? What would you be doing? What other skills do you have up that sleeve? Talking about a skill that one has up the sleeve, I love cooking. I mean, since I started coming onto this show, I've just got this new love for food. So, Dumza, what are we going to be making after the break?
We're going to end it off on a sweet note. We're going to be making some tasty fudge bars using Clover Bliss, a mixture of chocolate and fudge, and a touch of speckboom, just to end it all.
So what I love about the Speckboom is that it's Heritage Month, proudly South African. So if you want to get in on this delicious fudge bar recipe that is repping Mzansi, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Express yourself.
with the creamy decadence of bliss chocolate dessert from Clover. Surrender to a moment of pure chocolate bliss. Bliss. Double indulgence.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express, and I hope that you're having a fantastic Thursday. Dumza, you ready to cook?
I'm ready, girl.
Okay, on that note, it's about time to treat yourself to something creamy, decadent, and indulgent. Our Clover Bliss and Spec Boom fudge bars are better than that store-bought stuff and are guaranteed to be loved at first bite. Girl,
Yes, girl.
you've even got me up here in my feels because this sounds delicious.
Yes, this is basically celebrating South Africa in that we're using Spec Boom, which is signature to South Africa. So we're just putting ourselves out in the world. They're letting people know that we also have something unique. So come get
Representing.
it. Exactly.
And on this Heritage Month, if you want to be cooking along with us to make this delicious Spec Boom fudge bars, please do head over to our Afternoon Express website, afternoonexpress.co.za, and you will get the full ingredients list and the methodology of how to whip this up.
Exactly.
Love it.
Awesome. So we started off, I just put some water into our saucepan here. I'm going in with a little bit of sugar. So basically, it almost...
A little bit of sugar.
Okay, fine. A whole lot of
sugar. No, I love it. You know what, South Africa? Lean in. Lean into everything that you're doing. If you're going to be putting a whole lot of sugar into that fudge, I love it. It's sweet, it's decadent. It's going to be that cherry on the top of any sour day.
The thing about it is I'm sweet enough, so whenever I add a lot of stuff, it feels like it's not as sweet as me. So that's why I say a little bit of sugar.
I love that.
A little bit of sugar goes a long way. So I've just put the sugar in there. So what's going to happen now is you want it to be golden brown. So the whole idea is you're basically almost making caramel, but the only difference is we're getting it to the fudge stage. And it all depends on the type of ingredients that you're using. So if we were making caramel, this is the point where once it turns golden, we then take it off the heat, add our cream, it bubbles away, it creates a nice little caramel sauce.
Wow.
But now because we want it to be fudgy and we want it to basically solidify, we're going to be adding a couple of ingredients that actually will aid in that.
I love that. So here we're not only just playing with the different flavors that Clover Bliss has brought us, but it also just plays a huge part in the consistency as to what you want, whether you want something more caramelly sauce or a hard fudge bar.
Correct. And the lovely thing about this is we're using Clover Bliss inside the actual fudge bar and swirling it in there. But I love the fact that you can actually enjoy it as is. It is quite a guilt-free dessert. You can use it as a sauce, you could use it as a topping, and like now we're going to be using it in our dessert and swirling it in there.
Looks
And
so good.
I love chocolate, so I'm sold. I was sold just from that. So the whole idea is, I don't know if South Africans see here that our sugar is already turning golden brown on the side over here. And with caramel or fudge, the idea is not to stir it a lot. But obviously, we don't have an hour or 50 minutes to do this. We're going to try and do it as quickly as we can. So basically, we want it to turn golden brown. And as soon as it starts doing that, the sugar starts to melt. We then start adding the rest of our ingredients. And this includes butter. Let's go in with our butter there.
Love that.
And then we go in with some golden syrup.
Yum.
That
More
they also,
sweetness.
Correct, girl. I mean, you did say that it's almost the weekend. So the whole idea here is to make sure that we keep ourselves ready for this weekend. And I mean, sugar gives you energy.
Absolutely.
So, girl.
What is that?
So we're going in with some, we've been doing some golden syrup before this and then some condensed milk. So all we want is we want this mixture to cook down and bubble up and get all nice and golden brown together and just create a nice thick consistency. Beautiful. And then once it's ready, once the butter is melted, we remove it from the stove and then we add in our vanilla essence. So this hasn't happened yet, but I just want to show you at least the steps.
The step.
So you know how it's done. So once this is done and our butter is melted and it bubbles up, you don't want it to boil too much. You just want to break the surface. Once that is done, this is basically the type of consistency we're going for. We want it to be a nice, thick, caramelly sauce, but you can see that once it gets solid, it's going to be a nice solid bar.
And I'm telling you, it smells so good. You know, when I was saying that this is so much better than that store-bought stuff, I love it because not only is, making your own ingredients always more economical on the pocket, and I'm always here for that, but you just know exactly what's going into it, and that is what sets it apart. And also, it just gives you more flexibility to play.
Exactly.
You can add and take away as you please.
As you please. So remember I mentioned we're going in with our Clover Bliss. So we're going to add it on top of our fudge before it goes into the fridge, because what's going to happen now is we're going to let it sit. We don't want want to let it set in the fridge as soon as it comes out. You want it to set at room temperature first and then goes into the fridge. So we've gone in with our Clover Bliss. We go in with some speckboom leaves that we got, and they're going to basically cut through that sweetness because they've got a nice lemony flavor to them. If you bite into them, they just basically it balances everything out. Any excuse to have chocolate and sweet stuff, right?
I love that. So, Dumi, you know, I'm going to ask you, Siswam, just quickly, whilst you're sprinkling that chocolate, please may you pass me that bowl of speckbooms. I just want to I've actually never tasted speckbooms. I used to love watching Top Billing back in the days, and I will never forget an insert where they went into the depths of Cape Town and they just went on the hunt for speckbooms. And I was just like, this is something so beautiful to look at, but who knew you could add it into a recipe and into your dishes? So let me have a taste. Try to understand that lemony.
So imagine that, the salty, the sweet, because if you want to, you could even add a bit of salt to make it a salted caramel fudge with the speckboom and the chocolate. And then basically this is what you get, a nice consistency once it's solid. So you're going to have a bite of speckboom, a bite of chocolate, a bite of caramel.
All together.
Sorted.
What I love about the speckboom as well, in collaboration with the Clover Bliss, is that there's some creaminess to a speckboom. I'm feeling some creaminess at the back there, as much as there's also that lemon citrusiness that also does cut through. I can only imagine when it comes together quite beautifully in this creamy, decadent dessert. Just the two together is perfect.
Perfect.
Proudly South African, it is September Heritage Month. So if you would like to get this deliciously decadent recipe, please do head over to afternoonexpress.co.za. But just in case you've missed any of the steps, here's a quick recap. As soon as you see this dining room table, you see food in front of us, you know what that means.
And girl, you know we're ending it on a sweet note, right? So I'm sorry, but I'm going to dig in. Yes. I don't even need cutlery for this. I'm just going to bite into one of these because they're just almost as sweet as me, but hey.
Oh, trust me, girl, you are a whole lot sweeter. Purely South African, proudly South African, loving it all. On social media, though, as we just head out of the kitchen into our social media phones and that hashtag Afternoon Express, we wanted to find out from you, if you were to quit your day job, what would it be? And I've got an answer to that.
I want to hear this, definitely. So please, juice.
What I would be doing, I love music. Everything about music, from, thank you, Dumi, from the production of music to singing to performing. I 110% would want to be the next Beyonce.
Look, but I see it though. I definitely see it. I see the personality, the energy, the power, the fire. Beyonce, watch your back, girl.
Listen.
Watch your back.
Sasha Fierce has 24 hours to respond. But you know what? This leads me quite nicely into what we have lined up tomorrow. I mean, it is a Thursday and tomorrow's Friday, so we're gearing up for the weekend, and it's all about the music, Dumza.
It is. And young Asmin, I like to dance. I don't show it on camera. You don't know my moves. But yes, I can't wait to get down, huh?
So we actually have one of the stars of Beyonce's new visual album coming through to the loft. Speaking about Beyonce, Unandi Madida. And you know I'm loving the live performances after Paddy Monroe last week. So I needed to call some special guests, some reinforcements to help us out. But I'm going to keep that a surprise.
Ah, okay, so you're going to do me like this?
I'm going to do you like that.
In front of the whole of South Africa?
Absolutely.
Okay, girl, I'll see you.
South Africa, let's keep the conversation going online. Use that hashtag Afternoon Express throughout the evening. Let's try trend today, and let's try see if you can guess who our guests tomorrow are in the loft that's going to keep everything musical for us. Thank you, Dumi, for the fudge. Thank you, Dumi, for the speck boom. And thank you, South Africa, for tuning in, making my day every day just by tuning in. Now join us again tomorrow as we ring in the weekend with a special guest in studio and Nandi Madita on video call. But until then, good night, stay safe, and happy eating. Clover has been a part of our South African heritage for over 120 years and wishes you all a happy Heritage Month. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.